Greetings, Judah. DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, it's Sunday evening, a little late, but being, wanting to keep my word, being true to sharing with you on last night that we would get together for a little while, just a little while tonight, and just continue on our journey through the book of Enoch. And as you already know, this is a very, very important book for our people. This book explains, many, many mysteries that have been kept from us. It allows us to really look at the spiritual realm and understand the spiritual things that are going on around us at all times that we were just told were, terms like the Holy Ghost or, or even worse, little quips like, God got me. That kind of stupid, dumb, idiotic statement that many of us have made because we didn't know any better. Even teaching that to other people or repeating that, that misdirected, poorly informed encouragement. I guess that's the most gentle way that I'm capable of saying that. And so because of Enoch being hidden from us, then we only had religion to move forward with. And religion just told us, the lies, that the seed of Satan, wanted us to know and wanted us to understand. And more importantly, wanted us to be suppressed by. So as we explore through Enoch, I trust that Yah is going to continue to open up our eyes so that we can begin to see what's really going on. Things that appear to be something and they're absolutely not. And I'll give you a quick example. We've been told, what is it, Orion? The different star formulations in the skies. And we were told that all these different stars were, distant planets or whatever. Really, if you think about it, it really didn't make much sense. I mean, it only made sense because we had nothing to compare it to, other than what the lies that we were told, that these things that we see up in the sky are just these little stars sitting there that you can see from the earth, but they're so damn far away. But yet somehow or another, most of us can't see, words this size, right in front of our very eyes. But yet we can see, stars that's supposed to be 1,000,000 light years away. I want you to think about that. Can we see the luminaries up there? No question about it. I'm not questioning that. I'm questioning the distance. Because if it's as far as they say it is, those things would have to be 1,000 times, millions of times larger than the earth to be able to be seen. And then that means that the expansion of what they say is the solar system would be so expansive that you wouldn't be able to, it doesn't make any sense. I guess that's what I'm saying. Enoch brings everything right back down and lets you know that what you're looking up there are not the lie called stars. Those are angels. That you're looking at the heavenly host of Yah sitting up there. And I know some of you guys again like, what are you talking about, man? You're going against science. Yeah, you're damn right I'm going against science. Our book goes against science. At least science in its most ignorant, deceptive inability to truly validate itself. I mean, there's a scripture, I think it's Luke chapter 10, where it says, Yeshua, when the disciples had come back from doing some work and they were reporting to him about all the things that they had seen, they were able to lay hands on devils and cast out demons and heal and many, many, many different miracles. He looked at him and said, okay, that's all fine and good. You know what I saw? I saw Satan cast out from heaven like lightning. And if you think about that, what? You almost have to say, you sure? Where'd that come from, dude? We're talking about healing and all these miracles that we've seen, and you tell us don't get caught up in that. Because I saw Satan get thrown out of heaven, like lightning falling from the earth. But if you go back in Revelation, I think it's chapter 12, and it talks about how the dragon grabbed all the stars with his tails and pulled them with him. Stars with his tails, the dragon. And yet we know 1/3 of all the angels in heaven left their first estate and went after Satan. And according to Hebrews, there are an innumerable number of angels. Innumerable means there is no number. So what is 1/3 of a infinite number? And so it says when he saw the dragon with his tail, it brought them all down. All these stars, it was telling you again, angels. These angels up there through the book of Enoch. And I'm not, I'll share with you. But it tells you that all of these angels play a part in the earth being able to function as we know it today. And as these angels lose their first estate, or as Yah moves them out the way, the more danger befalls us. Go back to, I want to say, forgive me, brothers, because, I know the scripture, but I don't always remember the exact verse, but I want to say it's 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, where Yah talked about he that oversees us is there to push back the man of sin until he that's overseeing us be taken out of the way. And then the son of perdition shall be revealed. Well, that thing that's taken out of the way, again, that's another luminary that's put there so that Satan could not come in and destroy all of the people of Yah. To remember, for the elect's sake, Yah was not going to let that happen. And who are the elect? Those that love and those who strive to keep the laws and commandments of Yah. And I know many people, a lot of people, well, that's hard. That's not hard. Well, the only thing hard about keeping the commandments of Yah, my brothers and sisters, is the spirit of rebellion that we all are fighting with day in and day out. And that spirit of rebellion says, I'm not doing that. I don't care what, I'm going to use their word, the Bible says. I'm not doing it. I don't care what the preacher says. Well, you shouldn't care about what them devils says. But I don't care what my teacher said. I don't care how you explain it. I don't care what the Rahook tells me. I ain't doing that because it don't fit with my, idea of, what I want to do or what I would do if I were Yahuwah. Of course, they'll use God. And so that presence that Yah has that's keeping back, or that was keeping, I'm going to use the word that was keeping back the viciousness of what is to happen on this earth. Enoch, again, shares the beginning of that. It shares the progression of that. And Enoch shares the end of that. And all Enoch did, Enoch was just a witness. He witnessed it all. Even to the point that Enoch was told exactly where paradise or the Garden of Eden is. And as I get into this, and I know I'm doing my DFG thing, I'm giving a little bit probably too much commentary, but I hope you are comfortable with the commentary, because sometimes commentary kind of sets up, a better understanding, when the teaching begins. But anyway, when you think about Columbus, for example, or Vespucci, or Balboa, all these so-called explorers, what were they looking for? What were they looking for? I know the line history, we can't trust it, but there's some truth in every lie because that's the only way the people are going to believe it. Right? They got to mix the lie with the truth. So, these were explorers, those men I mentioned, but what were they looking for? I mean, the lie was like Columbus was trying to go to India. He'd have to be the idiot beyond all idiots if you're in Spain and you're going across a sea to get to India, which you could walk from Spain to India on dry land. What a lie. And they said, well, that's why he's called the West Indies India, because he thought he was in India. So, well, you could have walked. You got into a boat. Well, there was no indication that the water would take you to India. And that's what you... too much. Okay, okay, I digress. The bottom line, they were looking for the promised land. All of those explorers, they were, including the Vikings, they were all, because they had heard about it. And how did they hear about it? From the book, and more importantly, from the book of Enoch. Because either someone had passed down that knowledge to them, or someone was sharing that knowledge with them, depending on... Columbus was dealing with the Queen of Spain. You don't think this Queen of Spain knew about the book of Enoch? You don't think them devils sitting over there in Buckingham Palace know exactly who we are as the people of Yah? Why you think they let Meghan Markle in their inner circle? They know so good and damn well who we are. They've always known who we are. And they've all sworn secret debt oaths to never tell that particular truth, under threat of death. And that's why when, all of these entertainers who are these Masons or part of the Eastern Stars or whatever, as soon as they start talking about the so-called Negroes, the Hebrew Israelite, what happens? They get attacked viciously. And they shut up very, very fast, because they already know if you let out that secret, they will destroy you. They will cut your throat, disembowel you, and destroy everything that you ever had, including the people that you love. That's how well this secret is. That's how serious they are about keeping the secret from you and I. But men like Columbus and some of those other men, they knew about this, guys. So they came looking for the so-called fountain of youth. What did that mean, fountain of youth? Think about that. So Columbus was looking for the fountain of youth, or the city of gold. Well, I'm going to read some things to you, and I think it won't be long inside of what I'm going to read to you that little light bulb is going to go off your head, and you're going to like, oh shit, I never thought about that. Better yet, you wouldn't have known about that because you didn't know about Enoch. But now we're exposed to it, and now Yah is revealing it to us because we're in the end times and knowledge is being increased. And the wise amongst us, who are the wise? Those of us who love, and those of us who are willing to do whatever is necessary to keep the laws, the statutes, the commandments of Yah, regardless of how hard they may be in terms of what we have to submit ourselves unto. And we need to be working and striving towards that when we're not there. But the one thing we should never do is blaspheme that word by saying, I don't care, I don't believe that, I reject that. Okay, that's a special place. We're probably going to read about that in a minute too, for you. But for the rest of you, like myself, I just want to know the truth. Because there, in knowing that truth, I'm going to be able to be free to worship the Most High in spirit as well as in truth. In other words, my inner man will be able to influence my outer man. So my spiritual man will interrupt my physical man and allow my physical man to be honorable before Yah in men. And that's a struggle. That's a battle for all of us. But it can be overcome, but it's not going to be overcome in ignorance, and it's damn sure not going to be overcome in resistance or rebellion to the word of Yah. But I will say that Columbus and all of them had read and heard about this special place. They didn't know exactly where it was, but they knew it was over the waters. And so they went out in search of all this gold and sapphire and silver and diamonds and these special people and, this land of milk and honey, etc. Many of them thought America was that place. Then when they came in and found some of our ancestors here, big, beautiful, copper-colored men and women, strong, fast, creative, great agricultural, great in agriculture, great hunters, great, peacemakers, great counselors, big hearts of love. And they had gotten close, not so much to paradise or Eden, but they got close to where those people came from who were in paradise and Eden. And that's why they want to keep some of us around to this very day. Just a few of us. They will never let all of us go. Don't ever believe that lie. Don't ever believe that. If they want us all gone, guys, think about it. They could have ended our journey here a long time ago. Them filthy, dirty crackers, niggers, whatever you want to call poor white trash, they don't want you going nowhere. They don't want you going no damn where. You can be sure of that. Oh yeah, a few of them who they fear or afraid of. Yeah, they may want to rid themselves of that. But the elite amongst us, the elect amongst us, please. They're not that damn stupid. And I'm just saying, they know what's going to happen if all of us are gone. The talented amongst us, the gifted amongst us. And every good and perfect gift comes from Yah. So I ain't talking about these, excuse my language, these niggas amongst us who run to these groves called colleges and universities and join these, freaky, occultic fraternities and different boulets and masons. I ain't talking about them devils. They've converted themselves to be just like the heathens. They don't give a damn about them. They want the salt of the earth. They want the ones who know how to support them and to encourage them and to care for them and to redirect them. That's what they want. The ones who they can look at and see something good in themselves through them. That energy that comes from them. Those are the ones that I can assure you Esau and the rest of them will cut their own wrists and slit their own throats before they let one of us get away. Because they just not going to have it. They understand that, if we're gone, it's over for them. And so they will do everything in their power to tell you how much they hate you. But then when you look at, well, if you hate me so bad, then why you have a problem with me being gone? Why you have a problem with giving me reparations so I can be independent of you? Separate myself from you. If you want me gone so bad, they could give us reparations and we can end this relationship. Just like that. But they won't do it. And they won't do it because we don't owe you nothing. No, you won't do it because you realize in separating themselves from us is debt to them. And they know it. The book says it. So I tell you that when they came, here to the Americas or to the West Indies and these other South America, and they saw these beautiful people of all shades of color, and the way they interacted, their communities, the way their children respected them, the way the mothers cared for their children, the way the men protected their families, and the way the men gathered together for counsel and encouragement, and the elders were esteemed, and the elders would be able to recall back hundreds of years of knowledge and wisdom to direct the young men so the young men could one day be elders to keep that wisdom and then to keep provision and to keep, the strength of the community. And even more important than all of that, to remind them of Yah. When these heathens saw that, they didn't know what to make of it. First they tried to join us, but they couldn't sustain themselves because they had no integrity. Instead of getting out and working hard like we did and planning and sowing, they started stealing and conniving, just like they still do. And therefore, our people had to move ourselves away from them, leave them unto themselves. But to show you if they really wanted to be among themselves, then why did they keep coming west? The farther they drove us west, the farther west they came. If you despise someone and you don't want to be around them, you don't go where they went. You don't go where you sent them. You either hold your ground or you go in the opposite direction. But that's not what they did. That is not what they did. And still to the day, that is not what they do. Yeah, I know what they say, but we can also see what they do. from cooking their food to caring for their mothers and fathers when they're ready to throw them away in these so-called assisted living facilities. It's our people who are in these places who give their parents the best care. And some of these old white devil heifers and Asian devil heifers calling our sisters who they're wiping their dirty asses, still calling them nigger and bitches and everything else. And yet, inside of our women and men, somehow we're able to stay resilient because of that natural love of Yah that's associated with the earth people. Will still have enough patience not to slap the living piss out of them. Well, in most cases. Again, I know I'm taking the long way around, but I think this is a good way to go. But they came here looking for something, guys. They came here looking for paradise. They went to South America looking for paradise. And when they couldn't get it or couldn't find it or people couldn't give them everything they want, they went about slaughtering and raping and killing and murdering and pillaging and plundering any damn thing they can get their hands on, including the people. Again, it's just a simple truth. But let's see what Yah will take us through. But remember we talked about the luminaries, the stars. Who are they? What are they? They're the heavenly host of Yah. Angels. They're not some light out there that's just sitting out there nowhere. And when you see a so-called shooting star, that's another, probably a body, there's probably thousands of them who have lost their state again. That's why it's so bright. And remember, guys, there are several heavens. There's the sky you see. And then there is above that particular sky, there's another heaven up there that's separated, quite frankly, by water. Genesis talks about that. How Yah separated, the water from above from the water beneath. Remember? And then there's a third heaven. Paul talked about it. How he went into that particular heaven. You know what I'm saying? Well, he came close to Yah, but he was not with Yah. But he was not here. And then somewhere in between there is hell. But was not in any of those places. It's paradise. It's not paradise. Okay, I'll stop. All right, brothers and sisters. I'm going to apologize. I'm sure what I'm saying is assisting someone. And more importantly, I hope it's encouraging you to get the book out. All right, so I'm going to go to Enoch chapter 23, and we're going to read, okay? I'm going to try to get right through it, but I'll stop here and there where I see that, if Yah stops me, I'll stop, okay? I'm going to try to get this wrapped up in 10 minutes, okay? All right, verse 23, chapter 23, book of Enoch. And from there I went to another place towards the west, until the extremities of the earth. That means the ends of the earth. I don't know how you get to the end of a ball. I'll say that again. You can get to the end of this. I got to do it. I got to do it. But one of you round earthers, can you please explain to me how can you get to the end of this? You can get to the top of it, the bottom of it, you can get to the sides of it. But you can't get to the end of it or the four corners of it, like the end of this and the four corners. 1, 2, 3, 4 of this. Like that. Just saying. But anyway, let's keep on going. And from there I went to another place towards the west unto the extremities of the earth, where I beheld fire blazing and running along without cessation, which intermitted its course neither by day nor by night, but continued always the same. And I inquired, saying, what is this which never ceases? Then Raguel, one of the holy angels who were with me, answered and said, the blazing fire which you behold running towards the west is all the luminaries of heaven. And I went from there to another place, and I saw a mountain of fire flashing both by day and night. And I proceeded towards it, and I perceived 7 splendid mountains, which were all different from each other. Their stones were brilliant and beautiful. Now think about what I'm saying. Now here it is. Enoch is saying these different places he went. He never said he went up. He's always talking about mountains, lands, and bodies of water. Now you understand why Columbus was sent on these missions, and Balboa and all these other so-called explorers were sent on these missions looking for, the fountain of youth and the cities of gold, etc. Because they knew about this book. That's the legitimacy of this book. Not that we need heathens to validate it, but it's still the truth. But brilliant and splendid to behold, and beautiful were their surface. Three were towards the east, and strengthened by being placed one upon another. And now you see this one upon another. You heard me talking about the different levels of the earth. This is what I would challenge you. If you start talking about where is the throne of the Most High, or is the Most High in heaven, which is, if you really think about it, guys, it's easy to believe in Santa Claus than to believe in these lies that people tell you that when someone died, they went to heaven. And then they're looking up in the sky for heaven. And when you look up in the sky, according to their own wicked, lying, occultic science, they're telling you there's galaxy after galaxy after galaxy. You follow me? What heaven are they talking about? All you see up there is blackness. It looks blue in the daytime because that's the glow of the sun, but it's still black. So what heaven are they talking about? How far do you have to go to get to the damn heaven that your mammy and your pappy went to? If you believe those lies. No, they knew that they're planes. In other words, it's sort of like planes. It's like you have this plane, call it Earth, but we know it's Earth. Then there's another plane a little bit above it, and then another plane a little bit above it, and another plane a little bit above it. It's where they saw these mountains. These is where these mountains that's being described. These are that third heaven that Paul talked about. It talks about where the throne, another heaven where Yah sits, etc. Maybe I'm wrong. But then again, maybe I'm right. Praise Yah. 3 towards the east, and strengthened by being placed one upon another. And the 3 were towards the south, strengthened in a similar manner. And there were likewise deep valleys, which did not approach each other. And the 7th mountain was in the midst of them. And the length they all resembled the seat of a throne. And the odoriferous trees surrounded them. And it does spell Odoriferous. Odoriferous trees. I got a feeling that's something that smells so dang on good, ladies. If you could get your hands on it, you would never buy another bottle, another brand of perfume for the rest of your entire existence on this planet. I suppose. Among these were the tree of an unceasing smell, nor of those which were in Eden was there not one of all the fragrant trees which smelt like this. See, Eden's still here, the Garden of Eden. And again, you heard me talk about this before. There is no scripture that said that Eden was destroyed. There's scripture saying that our ancestors were put out of Eden for disobedience and the saving of their souls, believe it or not. Or maybe for their seed, for the saving of their seed. But Eden was not destroyed. It was just unapproachable again. They could not come back in. Y'all put cherubims around with swords whose heads would go around, and if anybody tried to come in, those cherubims would kill them. And they knew that. But let me go on. And among these was the tree of unceasing smells, nor of those which were in Eden was there one of all the fragrant trees that smelt like this. Its leaf, its flower, and its bark never withered, and its fruit was beautiful. Remember I talked about the other day, eyes have not seen, nor have ears heard, or has it entered the hearts of men that Yah has prepared for those who love him? See, this is kind of giving you guys just a little bit of idea, and it's probably not even comparable, but a little bit of idea of what's in store for us, the tribes, the children of Israel. This is, this is the reward. And they wanted it so bad that they went about conquering and stealing and killing and murdering and robbing and lying to try to get it. And yet the people of Yah, to this very day, will tell you, oh, I don't believe in the Bible, or I don't believe in the book, or I don't believe in any of that. Well, your enemy believes in it very, 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 very well. To the point of destroying your ass to make sure you can't get it. If they're not destroying you physically, damn sure it destroyed you mentally and spiritually for you to resist and rebel against your creator. You're in bad shape, brothers and sisters, believing in atheism. What's the one that either they don't believe and they don't believe? I can't think of that word. It'll come to me. But you're in bad, bad shape. If they got you to that state. And behold, and the fruit resembled the cluster of a palm. And I exclaimed, behold, this tree is goodly in aspect, pleasing in its leaf, and the sight of this fruit is delightful to the eye. Remember what I just said a moment ago. Then Michael, one of the holy angels and glorious angels, who were with me and who presided over them, answered and said, Enoch, why do you inquire respecting the odor of this tree? Are you inquisitive to know it? And then Enoch replied to him and said, concerning everything I am desirous of instruction, but particularly concerning this tree. I love that answer. Can I say it? Can I repeat this? When someone asks you about the knowledge of Yah, want to learn more about our people, this ought to be your response. When you see DFG popping up, you should be running over there hitting that button. Not because I'm looking for you to hit the damn button. I'm talking about this particular verse of scripture. Don't be silly. Don't be childish. But listen to what he said. Verse 7. Then he asked him, are you inquisitive to know about yourself, about Yahuwah, about your creator? This is what Enoch said. He said, Enoch replied to him and saying, concerning everything, I am desirous of not knowledge, instruction. See, a wise man seeketh instruction. And this is what he said. He said, in everything. He said, in everything I am desirous of instruction. But, we all know about that word but. When but comes in, it cancels what was said before, right? But, particularly concerning this tree. You see, he knew that tree was connected to the throne of Yah. As this book in the word of Yah leads us to that connection to the throne of Yah. Verse 8. Oh, praise Yah. Here we go again. Okay. He answered me saying, that mountain which you behold, the extent, this is Michael talking to Enoch, the archangel Michael, the Michael who's over the serpents, over Satan, the one who cast Satan's ass out of heaven, who was at war. This is the one, when Satan came against Yah, Michael came against Satan. That's in Revelation. So here it is, here's Michael here, and there's Michael in the New Testament. So again, how do I validate this? But this book don't need validating. You're the one need to be validated. We're the ones need to be validated. The book stands for itself. Its truth is written all over this earth. All over the so-called universe. Which I think we're beginning to understand may not be the type of universe we were lied in science and told, and still being told that it is. Of course they will lie to you. Interesting enough, you follow me? They will tell us that we got all these planets out there. And guys, I'm not going to make it through, but I promise you I'm going to pick back up next Saturday. Don't get frustrated. It's almost like that great show you watch and, you wait for the next thing they say, oh, sorry, we go in. We'll pick it up next week. Sorta. But, Let me go on. He answered me, saying, that mountain which you behold, the extent whose head resembles the seat of Yahuwah. And he said, and the great is that glory, the everlasting King. And when he shall come and descend to visit the earth with goodness, and that tree of agreeable smell is not one carnal odor. In other words, there's no vanity in it. Everything is pure. A lot of people wear perfumes and cologne now to entrap people. And they know when they put it on, that's what they're doing. But this is not that. This is not to entice us to go towards lust. This is to draw us into the sweet-smelling odor of salvation and restoration. Hallelujah. And the tree was an agreeable smell, not one of carnal odor. And there shall be no power to touch until the period of the great judgment, when all shall be punished and consumed forever. But this shall be bestowed upon the righteous and the humble. And the fruit of the tree shall be given to the elect. For those of us who are loving and who are seeking and awaiting the return of Yah, knowing that our reward is extremely great. And why we're the envy of the whole world. It's why the world hates you. Because those that know don't want you to have it. And those that don't know sense there's something about you that they could never have. Although they could never understand what they could see with their eyes. They're looking at how can these people stand out in the sun and their skin shines. I stand out in the sun and in 20 minutes my skin starts to melt. Sores. Cancerous sores. In other words, the sun will kill me, but yet the sun will give them energy and strength. You don't think that's envious of anybody? Only the idiots among them, they hide. They just, I don't want to be black. So they go hide and they go hide in their dark rooms and they go hide in their caves and underground or wherever it is to make sure, I'm going to keep my little pure, milky white, whatever. And then they look like ghosts when you see them. Worse than ghosts. They look like maggots. Maggots are little white maggots without colors. I'm talking about, forget about it, DFG. It said, the fruit of the tree shall be given to the elect, but towards the north shall be planted in the holy place towards the inhabitation of the everlasting King. Now, if you notice, the everlasting King, you have not heard me one time say that this book says that the everlasting King was up there somewhere. You keep hearing her repeat to us, it's out there somewhere. Out there somewhere. Beyond the four corners. And one thing else I was about to say, praise Yah, because it has slipped my mind. But I was going to say this, and then we're going to be done in about a minute and a half, promise. I'm almost finished with this particular chapter. Have you given wonder that these people, they tell you that these are planets, right? That these are planets. This has nothing to do but just planets in the solar system, right? But did you ever notice the 9 that we know of? Did you notice that every one of those planets are named after mythology or Greek, so-called Greek gods? They named them after entities, luminaries, Mars, Venus, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune. Think about it. Uranus. Has it not dawned on you guys? The only place that is not named after the so-called planets in our solar system, the only one that isn't named after a god of this world, only one that isn't, is Earth. Only Earth. Because they wouldn't dare call Earth anything like that because Yah would have struck them down. Because the earth is the Lord's. And that's the Psalm tells, in the fullness thereof, and all that dwells within it. Talking about nature and the people of Yah. But you need think about that. Why would they name them after Greek gods? Idolatrous gods, luminaries, competing gods. Why would they do that? And not name, and the stars be not luminaries. The stars are just something out there, but all these planets have names. Because they know. You just don't know. This book was hidden from us, guys, because this book was started on that journey of discovery. And now, just like Enoch said, when Michael asked, are you inquisitive to know about it? And homeboy said, concerning everything, I want some instruction about. Including, and particularly, this particular tree that I'm looking at right now. Because I foresee that this tree is leading to the throne of Yah. But all on these plains. Nothing in the sky. Interesting enough. Not in the sky as we're being told or taught. I'm almost done. It said, for the fruit of the tree shall be given to the elect. For towards the north, life shall be planted in the holy place, towards the north. Life shall be planted towards the holy place, towards the habitation of the everlasting King. Then shall they greatly rejoice and exult in the Holy One. The sweet odor shall enter into their bones. Goodness, hallelujah. Say the sweet odor of Yah is going to enter into our bones. Think about that. Now you talking about a sweet smelling man or a sweet smelling woman? They ain't going to have nothing on what we're going to be smelling like. Because all the stink and filth of sin is going to be gone. Which covers all of us, unfortunately, because of the fall today. Then shall they greatly rejoice and exult in the Holy One. And the sweet odor shall enter into their bones, and they shall live a long life on the earth, as your forefathers have lived. You know how long our forefathers lived? 800 years, 700 years, 900 years. I'm talking about our forefathers. I'm talking about, the early men, Methuselah, Adam, all of those guys before Abraham. You know what I'm saying? They lived, long lives. All right? We're going to go back to that. Scripture says there's nothing new under the sun. Solomon says that. And while I'm thinking about that, it lies that any man in Christ Jesus is a new creature. Old things are passed away. That's a lie in Scripture. That's a lie. Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun. How can something be new when he said nothing is new? But that's a conversation and a lesson for another day. But it's part of the deception. The New Testament. What New Testament? New Testament of what? The promise from the Scripture. We don't have to have no renewing of that promise. That promise never changed. Yah said, I am Elohim, the Creator. I change not. But that's the lie that Christianity has poisoned our people with. Why? To control our people, and then the Gentiles controlling our people by, again, whitewashing themselves into us, and then telling us that we're some jungle bunnies out of some woods out in Africa, that they came and somehow or another in the goodness of their heart rescued. Well, rescue is not with reparations, you dirty devil. Since you're so generous. You had enough love, and your ancestors had enough love to take us across the world according to you on their dime. Well, how about now you taking their dime and giving us some of that same love that was so generously in your ancestors to bring us over here to take care of their asses so you can have what you got right now. You're liars. And you're the children of liars. Neither in their days shall sorrow, praise Yah, distress, trouble, and punishment afflict them. Talking about us. And blessed Yahuwah of glory, the everlasting King, because he has prepared this tree for the saints, formed it and declared it, that he would give it to them. And that's what Enoch was inquiring. Enoch said, I hear all this other stuff you're talking about, and I want to know more about it. But I got my eye on that promise, that tree, and what's inside that promise. You know what Enoch saw? Again, this is what Enoch saw. He saw this. He saw they would be blessed of Yahuwah forever. And they would have long life. And in their days, they would have no more sorrow. They would have no more distress. They would have no more trouble, no more punishment, or any affliction whatsoever. That's why he was looking. And that's why you should be looking. That's why we're looking and waiting and learning to prepare ourselves to be ready for that day. Praise Yah. All right, brothers and sisters. I promise I'm going to pick back up next week. We'll pick up on chapter 25. Okay, brothers? I know I went a little long here. All glory to Yah. I was really tired, man. I had a long day, in the labor camps called JOB. But yet, I refused to go lay my head down until I fulfilled my commitment to my brothers and my sisters, because I told you that I would. I told you I would bring the word tonight. Praise Yah. We got it. All right, brothers and sisters? Praise Yah. Yah bless you. Yah protect you. Yah shine his ruhuk all around you. Yah give you mercy. Yah give you grace. Yah put that ring of fire around you. Keep that enemy away from you. And that Yah give you peace. Talk to you later, guys. Bye now.